What a decorated kind of a person, one head with all those accolades on him.
Well, it's quite clear that he was down-to-earth person, and he loved people. He loved that this nation should be free,
yes,
and be able to do its own things in its own way, and therefore his mindset was one of liberating this country economically.
Right.
Of course, the political stage had already been done.
Yes.
And having served with humility at the lowest position of an executive officer of KANU. And remember, during that period of time, 1960, to be a lecturer at the university was one of the prestigious...
It was a big deal.
A very prestigious
at Makerere University.
At Makerere University,
right.
At most. And therefore, it was a very prestigious position. To relinquish that for a lower position and be able to fight for the liberation of this country, the independence of this country, I think is one of the greatest sacrifice a human being can make.
Right.
So from the beginning, he put his stamp of approval on what he was. A humble people, a servant of the people, wanting to serve the people and wanting to see that the people are free and emancipated from the colonial era, and also being able to participate in the economic growth of this nation.
Absolutely. Prof, you said that the first encounter with the late president was in 1960, during the inaugural flight.
Yes.
You had a chit-chat, and later on you'd meet when you're walking down the aisle.
That's right. When I was walking down the aisle in 1968,
yes,
he graciously, with the late Mama, Her Excellency Mama Lucy Kibaki,
yes, attended
my wedding. And I was only a medical registrar at Kenyatta National Hospital. When I gave him the invitation, he remembered our encounter in 1960, and he said he will definitely come. And to my surprise, there he was. He turned up.
Right.
And it was very surprising. And it was one of my greatest moments in life. That somebody of that high-ranking position then in Kenya government, as it was, we were free, and we were working, and we were building up the nation. For him to be able to take moments off the busy schedule, to come and attend to our wedding, is one of the most homely thing that you can ever experience.
No wonder your friendship lasted a lifetime until you were appointed minister in his first cabinet. You were a minister, you're the Minister of Education, and then you're also a Minister of Foreign Affairs. Tell me about his passion for education.
Well, before then, I had served with him under President Moi in the cabinet, before he exited the cabinet to go to the opposition. And when he appointed me the Minister for Education, you remember, it was during the post-election violence.
Right.
Moments were very tense. The situations were extremely unpredictable, and therefore we needed to stabilize the educational system. And as you will recall, he had already started the free primary education.
Yes, which we are enjoying to date.
Which we are enjoying today. And one of the responsibilities that he gave me was, look, Professor Ongeri, I've appointed you, and I'm looking forward to you in completing the circuit of our free education from the primary sector to the secondary sector. So he mandated me to start the 3-day secondary education program in Kenya. Alongside with that, you also mandated me to be able to set up the infrastructure for both our primary and our secondary institutions. And he set aside a budget which was set aside to be able to improve the facilities in our schools. If you go around and recall that these facilities were actually started during that period of time. Yes. There had been some development before during President Moi's era, but this is when we had one intensive approach towards the creation of reasonable facilities in our schools to accommodate the numbers. One other thing you remember, during that post-election violence, we had a lot of student disturbances and upheavals, and strikes. And including the teachers who themselves were on strike. And the notable feature is that we were able to bring them around, and when I mooted to him that one of the things that we need to do in order to stem off these strikes is to start peace education.
Peace education?
Yes.
Right.
And by the way, we developed peace education curriculum, to be rolled out to all our schools, having come, emerged from post-election violence.
Yes.
And therefore, our students needed to be reappraised of the new thinking, the new standards, and the new approach in terms of the Kenyan political profile. So there we were, very intensive, very interested in education.
Yes.
He provided enough money for education. And if you care, look back at the budget provisions.
Yes.
The ministry that enjoyed the PACs from the national government, the resources that were collected by a Kenya government was the Ministry of Education.
And it was so close to his heart.
And 96%
yes.
of the Kenya's revenue collected locally went to education.
Amazing. We'll talk about that, and probably you'll also tell me, how was he during your cabinet meetings? How would he handle himself? Was he a combative kind of a leader, a boss, or personal lifestyle? How was he? I will discuss that with you later on, Prof. But then, Kyoria, you've heard it from Prof himself. Friendship dating way back in 1960. I still ask you this question, where were you?